All right, everyone. Welcome again to our presentation on enhancing your job search with AI tools. My name is Cliff Guerin. I am one of the advisors here at WGU's Career and Professional Development Center, and we will talk about all kinds of things to help you with your job search and using AI like ChatGPT, for example. As we get started, if you need to leave, or if you're at work and you're being called out, or you need to get a drink of water, or whatever the case may be, go ahead and take care of those needs. As I said earlier, this is being recorded, and within a day or two, you'll get a copy of that recording and a questionnaire to help out. If you want to contact us, you can certainly do that at careers@wgu.edu. We will have a Q&A during the presentation or at the end. You can participate however you want. That'll be our interactive part of our time together today. So what we're going to cover will be AI in the modern job search strategy. We'll talk about how AI can help you optimize your resume. If any of you know that we do have JobScan, and that is to help with your resume, cover letter, and even your LinkedIn profile. It will give you updates. It'll score your resume and your cover letter based on a job description, all AI powered, and you have a premium account. So you don't have to pay for anything while you're here at WGU. You've got the highest level of using those tools that we could get with that premium account. Now, JobScan can help you with interview preparation, but we do have Big Interview, and it has a lot of good AI-based tools as well. And I'll show you where you can find that. And that will help even with Handshake. As Handshake is not AI, but Handshake is where you would find those jobs and internships and help you match with the employers and recruiters that come to WGU to post those jobs. So here is a brief video on AI. If you're new to using ChatGPT or AI, there are a few things you want to be aware of. So let's watch and listen to this video.
Welcome to this short video on artificial intelligence and best practices. What is artificial intelligence? AI is the simulation of human intelligence in machines, enabling them to learn, reason, make decisions, and solve problems like humans do. Before jumping into using AI, there are some important considerations to address. High tech, high touch. This new technology is exciting, but it's also complicated. Embrace new technology, but don't forget human skills. AI is not always accurate. Think of AI like a smart computer helper. It's not perfect, and it can make mistakes. Since AI uses information and inputs it learned before, it might be outdated, and sometimes it even makes up stuff that's not true, which is why we recommend using caution when using AI. AI is biased and can be unfair. Since it learns from people, by default, it inherits human biases. Protect your information by not sharing personal information with public AI tools. Any data you share with generative AI tools will be used to further train the model. It is best not to share any personal or proprietary data. Good practice would be to not include your contact information at the top of your resume when pasting or uploading your resume to public AI tools or ChatGPT. Talk to AI like a friend. When you use AI, it's like having a conversation. You can ask it questions and tell it if you want something different. Don't just take the first answer it gives you. Start with your own ideas. Think of AI as a helper, not a replacement for your brain. Use it to make your own ideas better, not do all the work for you. Double check everything. When you're trying to get a job or do something important, make sure your work shows who you really are. Don't let AI make you sound like somebody you're not. Remember, AI can help you work faster, but it's important to make sure your work still sounds like you. Many people use AI, so adding your own personal touch will help make you stand out.
Before you use any application, you need to understand the risks associated with AI and what information you should avoid entering when using public AI tools. Never input personally identifiable information in any public platform. This includes names, addresses, or other information that could reasonably be used to identify an individual. Do not use people's images or likenesses without consent. Be cautious when uploading images that can contain information like names, locations, times, and dates. Do not prompt public AI tools to generate content in the style of a particular creator. Doing so is likely to result in copyright infringement. Never input sensitive information into public AI systems or applications not explicitly set up to protect them. When using public AI tools, make sure to do the following. Do redact sensitive information, such as names, addresses, and phone numbers. Do maintain oversight by reviewing and checking results. AI-generated content should be evaluated for accuracy and bias before being used. And do practice caution when using public AI tools. Stick with applications built by well-known companies with established security protocols and ethical guidelines. AI tools help us analyze data and problem solve, but we must be aware of the risks and limitations of AI and follow best practices and policies to protect our information. Remember always to do the following. Always practice caution when using public AI tools. Never enter sensitive information into unapproved public AI tools. And carefully review AI output. If you have any questions about Big Interview or other AI tools, please reach out to us.
Welcome to the
So let's get to the next part. All right. So we'll talk more about this as well. So some of the tips that my colleagues were talking about on using AI or uploading your resume to ChatGPT or even to JobScan, I'd say the best takeaways from this is to make sure you take your own personal information off your resume or your cover letter. For the use of ChatGPT and JobScan, you don't need that information. And remember that they operate on collecting data. So it would collect all that as part of its learning platform. So your main concern will be about that keyword match, that job score. And that is all done in a final analysis, say on JobScan, that will give you that information. I believe we have a video on that as well, so we'll be able to share that. And I think a lot of that will be explained after the point. But the other important thing when it comes to optimizing your resume is to make sure it's going to get through that applicant tracking system. Most employers today are using something that will help them parse through what resumes are formatted correctly. Are they written to the job you're applying to? That's very important because that's the only way they're going to be able to evaluate if you're qualified for the job that you're applying to. So those ATSs, applicant tracking systems, will be the first round of a review. And as was said in the video a moment ago, there's high tech and high touch. This is the high tech part to make sure that that first round is successful as you're going through and applying to a job. Two critical areas. One, avoid using a template that you'll find online. Those are usually over formatted. There's too much information going on. Sections are really not formatted in the right position, if that makes sense. They may use icons, they may use text boxes, they may use columns. And what we're finding out is that many of the ATS systems are not really being able to read those very clearly. And it might either reject your resume or it'll flag it to where it might say, this is problematic. You always want to keep positive, right? You always want to keep everything that's going to make it to the hands of the recruiter. And then again, you want to update your resume every time you apply for a different job. that summary of qualifications at the top of your resume needs to be tailored to the job you're applying to. I know that folks sometimes will push back a little bit to say that's a lot of work. That takes time, and I need to like really apply to a lot of jobs that I find that I do qualify for. But if you're missing some of those keywords and there's not a good keyword match, then it may say, you know, you've got less than 75% of what we're looking for, or less than 60% of what we're looking for, which actually makes you not qualified. You don't want to be in that camp. Here are just a few things that, again, where that ATS and the AI, you want to make sure is successful to get through that process. PDFs are okay. There was a time to where PDFs might not be read because as PDF stands for protective document format, it's like a big picture. But those ATSs are evolving a little bit better today so that they can read through those, but they still don't like columns, tables, or other over stylized elements that could make them ATS not friendly. So we have templates on our homepage. Just go to the area for your resume. Resources, I'll show you where that is. And every school has their own copy of different formatted resumes that can help you out. When all else fails, just use a good, clean Word document. That's going to be ATS friendly. It's not going to be confusing to those AI scans, and you have a better chance of getting to the hands of a recruiter. Now, a word on JobScan, again, it's relatively new to our office, but with your premium account, you have unlimited resume scans. You've got a job tracker that can help you, save the jobs that you're applying to so you can come back and follow up. It can help you track those interviews. It can help you track offers if you're trying to make a decision between 2 or 3 different offers. It just helps you to be organized. There is a LinkedIn profile optimizer that can help you with your LinkedIn account if you're using LinkedIn as, say, your own electronic business card, for example. Recruiters will look at LinkedIn profiles as kind of a soft, I call it a soft background check, just to make sure that you are as professional online as you are on your resume. And then it can help you with a cover letter as well and do that kind of cover letter generator. Based on the research from JobScan, we're seeing that there are 3 times more interviews than without using a platform like AI or ChatGPT. 132% more LinkedIn profile views because it's optimized, it's clean, it looks good. And then 46% shortened time to an interview. And folks will ask us that all the time. Once I apply to a job, how soon will I get an interview? Well, we really can't answer that very definitively because it's up to the employer, right? But JobScan's own research has shown that at least with all of these things in place, they're calculating about a 46% less time to get to that interview. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and watch this video introduction on JobScan.
Welcome to JobScan. My name is Sydney, and I'm going to show you a full walkthrough of the JobScan match rate report. After you scan your resume and the job listing for the job you want to apply for, you'll see your match rate report. JobScan gives you an instant analysis of how well your resume is tailored for a particular job and how to optimize it for applicant tracking systems or ATS. The match rate you see here is based on how well your resume matches up with the job description you entered. We recommend aiming for a match rate of 75% or higher. The first section you'll see here is searchability. Since companies use applicant tracking systems to track and manage candidates, you want to make sure that your resume can be understood by that system. Remember, it's a computer, so it doesn't read documents the way humans do. If a recruiter uses an ATS to search for certain keywords or skills, you want to make sure that the ATS understands that those keywords are on your resume and that you match the search parameters. And by the way, if you see a notice here to add missing scan information, all you have to do is click on that link and type in the URL from the company website for the job you're applying for and the company name. The JobScan system will automatically detect which ATS that company is using and give you guidance on how to optimize your resume accordingly. The report will also tell you if other important resume text like contact info, education info, and dates are searchable. The next two sections on your match report show you hard and soft skills that are listed in the job description. Hard skills especially play a major role in hiring decisions, so adding the skills listed here have a high impact on your match rate. The report will show you how many times a skill is mentioned in the job description and how many times it's mentioned on your resume. You can click on a skill to see it in the context of the job description. That might help you better understand exactly what the recruiter will be looking for. You might also see predicted skills in this list. Our system is trained to predict skills that a hiring manager might look for based on the kind of job you're applying for. These skills aren't in the job description, but they are commonly mentioned in similar job descriptions, so you might consider adding them to your resume. To get the best results, use these skills lists as a guide for optimizing your resume for an ATS, but also the recruiter. Rather than simply writing these words on your resume, use the skills list to inform what you highlight in your work experience section, what measurable results you talk about, and what projects you focus on. There are other keywords listed here as well. These include company-specific jargon, buzzwords, or industry lingo. Including them might help your resume get noticed, but these keywords have a low score impact. Next, you'll see recruiter tips. We surveyed professional recruiters and got their feedback on what they look for in a resume. Remember, after optimizing for an ATS, you also need to optimize for the human that's going to look at your resume. Is there enough information? Do you include measurable results? It's important to include these things on your resume, but note that these tips do not impact your match rate because they apply to every single job that you apply for. Lastly, JobScan will check your formatting to make sure it's ATS friendly and human friendly. Use these tips to make sure that the ATS can correctly parse the text on your resume and that the recruiter or hiring manager can easily read the text. As you follow these tips, your match rate will increase. JobScan includes several tools to help job seekers get more interviews, including cover letter optimization, LinkedIn optimization, and more. We'll discuss these features in separate videos. To get started, go to jobscan.co and get your free match rate report today.
All right. So let me correct some things. You don't have to sign up for JobScan. You're already on JobScan. You're not going to have an introduction account. You have a premium account. So let me show you where those are on our website. Here's our website, obviously. So what you want to do is you want to be able to go to build your brand and click on that. This is where you're going to find how to build your brand, but also areas of where you find the resume templates, cover letters, and LinkedIn. And if you're in the School of Technology and you want to build a portfolio, you can do that as well. And I believe teachers, the School of Education will also have one that's on portfolios. Now back to our homepage again, where I want to show you some other job search tools. Scrolling down is where you'll find Handshake. Now, the important thing about Handshake, everyone, is that you want your profile to be completed. If you haven't done anything with Handshake, then it's not completed. Is the bottom line. You want to be able to upload a good resume, put in skills that are specific to your industry that you're going into. Write your summary like your 30-second commercial to the industry that you're in or that you're going into based on your degree. Even have a professional looking profile picture, because the algorithms behind all of these little elements work together. And that's how Handshake will send you the jobs that are relevant to your industry and your interest as much as possible. It's not 100% proof, right? It's not bulletproof all the way. It can make mistakes like any other platform, but it's going to work better for you if it's completed and everything is filled out. Here you'll find Big Interview. That's going to help you with a mock interview. It can help you with how do you answer questions like, tell me about yourself, how to use the STAR technique to answer questions. Again, that's another AI tool that will help you as you're preparing for your job search. And then here you'll see where JobScan is. If you click on that, you'll see where there are also other quick demo videos. So if you want to watch a video on what do you get with the premium account, you can click on that. If you want to find out what the LinkedIn optimization is, you can also find out by clicking there as well. And again, this can be found on our Find a Job. It can be found on several other areas that we've tried to do, several links, so that you don't get lost too much in the hustle and bustle of it all. So going forward, we talked about that cover letter creation and optimization. We do have a cover letter presentation that we do, as well as resume presentations and LinkedIn presentations. We'll go into more detail during those workshops. All you need to do is register for those to check it out. But if you want to know of some quick ways of writing a prompt for a cover letter, here's an example of how to do that. Let's say you can go to ChatGPT and begin the prompt with telling it what you wanted to know. You know, you're applying to a particular position. You need a cover letter. You've uploaded the job description. So tell it to showcase your experience based on your resume, and that your highlighted skills could be writing clean code in Python, C++, JavaScript, using object-oriented programming, or whatever your profession is. If it's in business, then use the job description to find the key, not every keyword that's there, but the ones that you are higher skilled in. But remember, don't include your personal information, but do include the job description if possible and a copy of your resume. Then as you get that input from that platform, what you'll want to do is go back, proofread it. You know, is it giving you good information? Does it sound like you? That's where the high tech, high touch, that's where you as the human need to come in and look for errors, biases, those things called hallucinations. So if the ATS or the AI gets confused, they may just make stuff up. That's where you want to go in and proofread it and correct it, put it in your own voice, in your own tone, so it sounds like you and not a robot. Now, interview preparation is also a great feature for ChatGPT. It can help you to generate questions even for at the end of the interview. I get that all the time. Like, I don't know what questions to ask at the end of the interview. Go to your platform, go to Copilot, go to ChatGPT, tell them the kind of job that you're applying to, upload the job description, and then ask it to generate meaningful questions for at the end of the interview. So that prompt are the instructions that you want to give it. Here are some other sites that you can look at. These will be clickable, but if you want to write them down and do a search, Interview Sidekick, Interviewer.ai, and even you can Google other, lots of other platforms are already going to be out there. So here are some tips to enhance your job search just in general. Again, make sure that your Handshake and your LinkedIn profiles are up to date and they're targeting what you want to do, what your interest is. Set up job alerts with specific criteria that you're seeking. Now, one tip here, and I've been seeing this a little bit more often, and I've had folks say, hey, I'm going to let AI do my job search for me. Why not? I could do one job search at a time. It could do 100 job searches at a time. The risk in that is you may be sending out one type of resume to many different types of jobs that don't match the jobs. So if that's the case, unfortunately, you can't necessarily program the AI to parse out your resume according to industry focus. Also, I've had some feedback where recruiters will contact job seekers and they didn't even know they applied to that particular job because they're not involved in that application process. So they either don't answer the call because they don't recognize maybe the number, or they answer the call and they're not sure how to answer maybe those starter interview questions because they're not really paying attention to the job boards or the job descriptions. It may take longer. It may be daunting to have to apply manually. But if it's assuring that you're going to do your best to really get that feedback from a recruiter, then that's the step that I would recommend taking. Review again those AI suggested jobs. If you get automatic, like in Handshake, make sure that you're looking at those criteria. You might find something that you actually do qualify for, but if you're not reading through the details, then you may miss it. And as I just said, use caution when using those automated job application tools, going through those. Now, a quick reference guide. Again, Career Exploration is going to help you with some AI tools that will help be able to point you in that right direction. Here is an example of what that looks like. There's an AI quick guide for creating your SMART career goals. There are prompts below that will help you identify what those are. Excellent tools here to get started on using those prompts as you're going through your job search. If you need help in planning or a gap analysis, there are also some tools here to help you with that. And then also a quick AI guide. Get this over here, pull this up for you. Sorry, I have to go through these different screens. All right. Keeps going back to that. But if you go to our homepage, you'll be able to find a lot of these preparations and tips for you on that. There's the gap analysis I was talking about. There are some prompts if you want to find out more about going through those skills gaps with your resume. So that could be really helpful. And then here is one on creating a target company list that will help you identify what companies are hiring within your industry and a way for you to use AI to identify those companies in your local area. I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, for example. So I might go to AI and put in what my interest is. I'll give it what's called a persona. So I'll even go in there and say, act like a job coach, identify the top 10 company headquarters for retail in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And then I'll go to those companies and I'll do a job search on those company job boards if I didn't want to go through LinkedIn or through Handshake. That's a lot. And I know it seems like we kind of breezed through some of that information. We wanted to introduce how AI can really be an assistant for you during this time. But if you have any questions or questions that popped up, I'd be glad to take those now. Again, use the chat feature. And if you do not have any questions and you got what you wanted out of this presentation, this officially ends our time and you can take your leave. Again, if you came in late or just as a reminder, you will get a copy of the recording. But here are some other contact information. If you want to join us, we have a YouTube channel for some other presentations. You can email us directly. If you call in through the phone number, you'll get a voicemail where you'll leave a message, and then one of our advisors will call you either that same business day or the next business day. On our homepage and through Handshake, you can find a whole series of other events and workshops, including drop-in hours. That's kind of like a office hours. That's not a presentation, but if you have a quick question you want to drop in, then drop out, then we have published drop-in hours as well. Here's a QR code if you want to take that survey. You'll also get a link in the email, but you have 2 ways to give us some feedback. We also like to collect ideas. If you have an idea for a presentation that you think that your other WGU colleagues might benefit from, let us know. We'd be glad to explore that. So I'm not seeing any questions just yet. I am here for just a moment longer. If you have anything you want to share, that would be great. Otherwise, I am really glad you were able to join us today. I'm going to stop our sharing here and I'll stop the recording.